Hello, can you hear me?
Uh,
Hey, there we are.
Hello,
Hey, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
Good, good. I know it's what, 9 o'clock where you are roughly?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
it's gonna be 9, but it's fine.
Well, I really appreciate you making time for me like this.
No worry, no worries.
Cool.
Do you want to get this recorded or
Well,
maybe
sure,
not?
yeah, sure. Whatever you'd like.
It's up
Listen,
to you.
yeah, sure. Let's record it. I can put a copy of it on my YouTube. I want to discuss and give you all the time in the world and help you with any and everything. So,
All right.
Recording in progress.
Okay, so first of all, my first question is, why are you running?
so I'm actually running again. I ran in 2020 whenever the whole
Yeah,
I was so upset about the whole COVID thing being launched. And if anyone does a little due diligence, they'll see that it was a pre-planned agenda, basically in so many words. The globalists were pissed at Trump, and so they launched it to destroy his presidency. And I just wanted to get the truth out because it was so heavily regulated, and it was the first time we saw in America mass censorship, especially digitally. And so I was running again because here in the state of Louisiana, according to our
yeah,
politics, a federal senator, a U.S. senator, their term lengths are 6 years. And so it was 6 years again for me to rematch with a fellow who was pro vaccine narrative and pro
yeah,
taking, yes, all these COVID measures, which now he has egg on his face, amongst other things, voting to impeach Trump. And so I wanted a rematch with him since I've been vindicated, even though it was a very, very tough process 6 years ago. I lost lots of family
yeah.
and friends, but have since been heavily vindicated. And I just hope I'm an inspiration to others.
All right. What are your main priorities?
I have a bunch. I'll tell you what, the first priority is staying alive. A lot of guys like me don't have a long lifespan, especially when you're willing to not sell out. And you know of, not that I, know everything and I'm perfect, but when you are abreast of the dirty tricks that the CIA and just any sort of government bureaucracy or agency that wants to perpetuate itself, you know the kind of tactics they do to sabotage and things like that. And when they
Yeah,
know that you can't be gotten to by, money, then they try and whack you or, hold you hostage and things like that. So staying alive. Second would be pushing the America First agenda, not to be confused with the Trump agenda, though they do share lots of overlapping threshold.
yeah,
One can argue that they are superimposed on top of each other. However, basically do a lot of things that RFK our one of our I don't know about the demographic in Spain if they know too much about him, but he was another presidential candidate who was big on environmental safety and health, things like that. And I like a lot of his agenda. Getting fluoride out of water,
yeah,
just trying to get rid of all these I say soft kill poisons, but things that have actually vindicated even more. If people are familiar with, it's called Operation Artichoke, which was just recently declassified. That talks about the purposeful invention of things like BPA, putting fluoride in water, any sort of unhealthy additive or container in the food process to be slowly integrated,
yeah,
things like that. So priorities are making America healthier by putting the truth out. Another thing is expansion of gun rights and First Amendment rights. There is a lot of Supreme Court cases and precedents, even at the appellate level and district. I'm in District 5 of the appellate. There's
yeah,
11. So as far as a federal appellate law, there are 11 districts here in the United States, and I know that the first, second, and the ninth are extremely liberal and have made lots of bad rulings. And if cases progress in that fashion, there's certain things in this district that are considered legal or don't carry as high as a price as those other areas. But definitely expanding the Second Amendment here and the First Amendment. What else? There's so many things. Basically, just getting the truth out, releasing the rest of the Epstein files, and aiming for complete redaction. I do want to say, in regards to this whole Epstein file release, the ones that I've been hearing from very seasoned attorneys that have spent lots of time in Washington, D.C., they are saying that the what is it? The State Department has some of the most damning
Yeah.
and accurate files of Epstein, and that those should be released first. So, but anyway, anything specific? These questions have been kind of broad.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to hear about first social policies, and then of course the Second Amendment, and also
So
immigration.
social
But
policies. Okay,
obviously, the Second Amendment is going to be very, very important.
so you said first social policies, two Second Amendment, and three was what again? I'm so sorry. You said one other topic. Immigration.
Immigration.
So let's start with
Yeah,
social
that could-
policies. I still think that's kind of
Yeah.
broad. Do you mind? What all would social policies entail? Do you mind?
I mean, if you have some views on healthcare or education, those things.
So I touched a little bit on healthcare. One, I can say that healthcare in this country had a complete overhaul starting in 1911 when the Rockefellers wanted to meddle with our healthcare and make
Yeah.
cures illegal and black shelf lots of new and emerging technologies that would be anecdotal. As far as healthcare, I think I do want to call a lot of attention to the Pennsylvania case. The state of Pennsylvania is going after a big Amish farmer for his naturally raised foods and especially his raw milk.
Yeah.
Raw milk has tons of enzymes, and this whole pasteurization deal is just a complete farce. Are you able to, or would you be willing? I'm about to put you on the spot. Forgive me, but maybe share your screen and pop on Google, Mr. Amos in Pennsylvania. Is that something you feel like doing, or just so we can show everyone what I'm talking about?
Sure.
If you don't mind, I'll so as far as healthcare under social policies, there is a huge case, a huge issue going on that is still
Yeah.
developing through the courts, and it has to do. The state of Pennsylvania basically was handed a whole bunch of stuff that the federal government, because they didn't want to get involved, or there was some sort of ruling where the federal government couldn't come after this guy, or it would be a lot harder. So they handed it off to the state of Pennsylvania, pressured the state of Pennsylvania and all of their food inspectors and their agriculture to go after this Amish guy who's basically, in so many words, just off grid and trying to, he has a really good policy or track record of animal husbandry and just natural farm raised foods that aren't from these GMO seed banks from Monsanto Bayer. And the state of Pennsylvania's bureaucracy has been, bringing him to court all the time, and they're trying to shut him down. I know that they tried some sort of way, and maybe they still are trying with what happens with when something like that happens, when a guy like that wants to sell his product and it's actually good for people. The big overarching clause is, it's called the, as far as federal government, is the Commerce Clause. And so what the federal government will try and do, they'll say, hey, your product gets on the interstates and is capable of travel. It's a movable,
Yeah.
and therefore, you get what I'm saying? So basically, you can quantify anything to be under that kind of regulation. But healthcare also too, all these 5G towers that have just popped up everywhere. I mean, it's like every day I see a new one, when I'm traveling around the state doing campaigns and
Yeah.
speaking at events. I really want to get rid of 5G towers. So, healthy food, definitely pro raw milk, against 5G towers, against, everyone calls it chemtrail, but what the government likes to do is call it strategic aerosol injections, SAIs. And so, stop all these SAIs and basically push for a lot. I mean, since we're releasing the Epstein files and they already declassified project Operation Artichoke, declassifying tons of studies that have been detrimental to our health, so people actually understand and can properly calibrate the links that the government will go to destroy your health care. Um, and as far as, okay, education, I mean, when I look at the younger generation and the ones that are in schooling, even private, very expensive private, I do feel that they're lacking, and there is a huge overlay of political correctness. Everyone's so worried about offending
Yeah.
someone, and I mean, I mean, if the founding fathers were worried about offending Great Britain, the crown, I mean, we wouldn't even have a country today. I mean, we would be a colony of, the United
Yeah.
Kingdom. So, I mean, anything else under social policies before we dive into the Second Amendment?
No, I think that it's fine if we dive into the other issues.
Okay, well, don't be bashful now. You can stop me at any time because I can sit here and talk forever about this.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
worries.
okay. I want to make sure I hit all your points because I really appreciate you doing this and staying up late. So, okay, as far as the Second Amendment, I did touch on it earlier. I think it's worth mentioning that West Virginia is trying to re-examine a 1965 or no, 1968 Firearm Act and help with the transfer of legal fully automatic firearms to its citizens.
Yeah.
So there's some sort of a West Virginia case, or I'm assuming it's maybe the West Virginia legislature that's worth looking into. Talking within the last month, they're trying to re-examine. I think it's a 1968 act, Sporting Firearm Act, or something. Anyway, that's really interesting. I think everyone should be able to purchase firearms no matter what the rate, the cycle, and that's what keeps our country free. I mean, if you look at a lot of people, especially, I don't know what the gun laws are like in Spain where you're located, but I can tell you this, just comparing, let's just say the country of Mexico, our neighbor, and the United States, the violent crime in this country is, perpetuated by gangs and people that, I mean, shouldn't have firearms in the first place or have had their rights taken away. However, if you look at Mexico, which in my words is a failed state by design, I mean, all the cartel, I mean, whenever you clamp down on and or eradicate guns or gun rights for citizens, that has no effect on the organized crime or the gangs or anything like that. And I mean, every day, especially recently with Trump cutting off, or they killed some big cartel boss, I think the New Generation Cartel. I mean, just all the gun violence and all the things going on. So to me, I'm a big fan of the doctrine of mutual assurance. So, I think, if everyone knows that everyone's armed, you're going to have a lot less, gun violence. So I'm all about expanding gun rights. I don't know. I mean, is there, I hate always throwing it back to you, but I mean, I don't know if you're agreeing with everything I have to say, or is there anything that you'd like to specifically touch on about the Second Amendment, or are there any qualms
no,
with anything I've said?
No, I mean, whatever you want to say. If you want to talk about the gun laws in Louisiana and everything, it's okay. It's fine by me.
Sure. Yeah.
Totally.
I didn't know if you'd have any, want to rebut or something, or just have a different view that you'd maybe want to bounce off me, like, pin me in a corner with some sort of tough questions. I'm all game for that, but if not, sure.
No,
I just want to.
I never do that. I never do that.
Oh, okay, cool.
I like to be objective. Like, I just ask the questions and I don't. I mean, I'm neutral in some.
I can tell. Yeah, and I
some
guess
way.
so many people that interview me, if they're not fully in line with me, and basically we're just reviewing. It's someone that has completely different views, and I mean, every 5 seconds I'm getting stopped and I'm getting a rebuttal and things like that. So I really appreciate you letting me flow, but I do want to say that I am totally available for any sort of contrary point of view, and so that I can defend my stance. But thank you for that. It means a great deal. The Second Amendment. Let's see. What's that common saying out here? We have a First Amendment because we have a Second. And the only reason that this country hasn't been invaded is because we have a Second Amendment. I'm a huge, gun rights advocate. I own many, many, many firearms and things like that. let's see, as far as immigration, what would you like to, would you like to refine the scope a little bit? That's a very broad topic, or?
Yeah, well, of course, illegal immigration, of course, border security and those issues, and of course, how you analyze Trump's agenda on immigration.
So, as far as illegal immigration, I can tell you that a lot of people that have illegally immigrated here um, come because they are encouraged by the left. A lot of people, well, first off, I need to back out. And the first thing I need to say is the UN push pull agenda, where they want to collapse. So, for countries they want to collapse, like the crown jewel America, the
Yeah,
UN has many doctrines. One of them is the push-pull agenda, and that is to flood a country with non-assimilating people and or with people that are from such a level of poverty that living off of the benefits that we could provide them are a luxury, and so you basically have them obligated or trapped forever. And the left, especially with a huge trader, his name is Alejandro Mayorkas. He was very prevalent in expanding and strengthening what's called the Darien Gap out in the Panama, Colombia area, and allowing lots of people from South America to flood here through Red Cross and things like that, through lots of
yeah,
NGOs. And so
yeah,
it's worth mentioning that with this UN push-pull agenda, it all could have been prevented. It all was exacerbated by design, and it was all to flood this country with people to get on welfare and exacerbate our welfare system, take advantage of it, overwhelm the state to collapse it, the state or the federal government with benefits, to import a permanent blue voter bloc, because now the Democrats don't even care about U.S. citizen Democrat voters. And also, too, as far as the border, we can see just how far the institutional rot goes whenever you see Trump wants to, revolutionize tons of things and has a huge agenda. And we see the things that he can get control of, like he has no control of the DOJ. It's sad. It's a shame. The FBI, but you can see
yeah,
areas that he does have control over, just like the border and Tom Homan. They've got a lot accomplished since Trump's been in office. And you can see which bureaus, he can wield power in, and ones he can't. But as far as border security, I think he's done as good as a job as ever. And I think a nation without borders, is no nation at all.
yeah,
And the southern border is a huge issue, especially when it comes to cartels. But they always find other ways. They dig underground tunnels. They use drones. I mean, yeah, I support what he's doing. I think he's doing as good as he can. But also, too, people fail to mention that it's a fact, and it can be easily Googled, that Obama has done more deportations than Trump ever has, and that's just an
yeah.
inconvenient fact for the left. Let's see. What else? Trump's is Trump something? I can't even read my own handwriting. What else under immigration? Is there anything else?
Well, yeah, if you could talk a bit about ICE and what's going on with ICE, within the country, because there's a lot of there are a lot of different views on this issue.
ICE, piggybacking off my last point, is doing nothing new other than enforcing laws that already
Yeah,
exist. And the illegal immigrants and people that they are tasked with going in and getting have court orders to do so. And so these, which is stronger than a warrant. This is, something that's already been, completely adjudicated and gone through a further legal process than a warrant. So it carries with it more weight. And I think ICE is under armed, if you will, under staffed, if you will,
yeah,
for the task at hand. And they are simply, in so many words, trying to get rid of convicted killers and people that are here illegally that really just are a burden or a dredge in society, a weight on our social safety system. ICE, I know, has been sent to several, Democrat areas, strongholds, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Chicago, things like that. And I mean, these people are just doing their job to try and help preserve the American way and clear out voter rolls, make the census and things like that more accurate. I have a lot of respect for those guys risking their life in ICE.
Yeah.
I support what they're doing overall.
All right.
Yeah.
Next question would be about foreign affairs,
Okay.
foreign policy. What will you support? Are you more from those who say we need to focus more on America first policies, or we need to focus more on helping other nations?
So I'll tell you what, the last I checked, this country isn't perfect. It's got a ton of problems. And I think it's always one election away from this point on from, succumbing to globalist control or the left or the
Yeah.
Democrat, which I think, that's all one and the same. So yes, I am about focusing inward. I'm about, I definitely think that domestic policies and issues take precedent over foreign policies. I'm big on that. I mean, just the issues we're having with our health, and also too, I mean, perfect example, our money is all a fiat currency, not backed by any commodity. I mean, we need to fix, get rid of this private bank, that's an entity of the Bank for International Settlements out in Switzerland, which is just a sub branch of that.
Yeah.
The Bank for International Settlements is a horrible, horrible entity that was created to be outside of law. There, I mean, it's not beholden to anything when it was created. It's really scary when you get into the history of that. And so, I'd love to abolish the Federal Reserve, carry out JFK's one of his executive orders before he was killed by the deep state, was Executive Order 1110, which is a silverback the dollar. I mean, that's a great start, but definitely placing the role of printing our money back into the rightful hands of, might I add, the United States Treasury, and get back to U.S. Treasury notes instead of Federal Reserve notes. I could digress for eons about the corrupt history and inception of the private Federal Reserve Bank, but what I can say is, in short, it needs to be abolished, and it's actually the third time in this nation that a private bank was installed. What is not taught in school is that we have Andrew Jackson, who beat the private banks, and then Abraham Lincoln, who also did too. And both of them had assassination attempts, and there was a successful one against Abraham Lincoln, but Jackson survived. And anyway, but definitely focusing inward on domestic policies. There's a million things wrong with this nation, and I'd rather focus on fixing things here at home before going around and patrolling abroad.
All right. Well, the last question I wanna ask.
Yes, ma'am.
This I ask to every single candidate.
Yeah.
Is, if you get elected, on the first few days, what are the main things you want to do?
Call out a lot of bad actors, get a lot of things on record. I need to be very noisy and have lots of cameras on me, because I know that anything good happening for the individual, for the citizen, and not for lobbying firms or big corporations or the deep state, gets no news coverage and gets lies told about them. So I need to make a big grand spectacle of myself. That way there's a lot of eyes on me. That way, if I go missing or if there's an assassination attempt, it's clearly caught and documented. So the first things I would do when I get to DC is definitely call out the left, not allow any lobbyists in my office. In fact, have a sign that says, no lobbyists are welcome. I would like to have some sort of 24-hour live feed on me, actually, at all times in my office. I mean, besides going to the damn bathroom and making love to my wife, I mean, I'd like cameras on me constantly, to be honest,
Yeah. All right. I don't know if there's anything else you'd like to say.
Oh, well, look,
Uh,
just in conclusion, I appreciate you reaching out. I appreciate you even caring about, politics here, especially in
yeah,
Louisiana, and furthermore, for that matter, reaching out to a candidate like me. To be honest, as interested in politics as I am, I've never reached out to anyone else in any other country and tried to set up something like this. So I really appreciate you going out of your way, and I appreciate your interest. And look, at a minimum, I appreciate you sitting through my whole spiel about America First. So if anyone wants the truth, if anyone wants real action, then demand Zan
yeah.
John. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Have a nice day.